Wine, which is here in Mumbai for the very first time with Karan Vasani of Sula Vineyards. Karan is the Chief Winemaker and Vice President of Sula. Welcome, Karan.
Very good to be here, thank you.
That was a very interesting talk on viticulture in India that you gave yesterday. And I had a couple of points which I just wanted to go over with you.
Sure.
One thing that you mentioned was about 75% of the wine is made in the vineyard, which I've heard a lot in Europe.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about, in the Indian context, how that works?
I think, all winemakers across the world will agree with this because, we as winemakers, I'd like to draw a parallel with us to sort of like chefs, except that we're cooking on much longer time scales of 8 months, 10 months or longer. But we can only be as good as the raw materials we work with. We're not magicians at the end of the day. We can do a few things to make the wine a little bit better, but if the inherent quality of the grapes isn't good, we can't do too much with it. So I think in that sense, the quality of the grape, which comes from high quality vineyards, trumps everything else, and that's the most important thing.
So how does Sula actually deal with, you have certain amount of vineyards of your own and
Yes.
some of it is contract farmed. So how do you handle this quality aspect that you're talking about?
So what we try and do is for the high end of our portfolio, and we have a huge portfolio of 30 plus wines, but for the high end, we ensure, particularly for the reds, which are more challenging, that the grapes that go into those wines come from vineyards that we directly and completely control, which gives us full control to grow the grapes to our specifications exactly the way we want them.
Okay, the other thing which I found really interesting is you spoke about Grenache being the ideal grape. We haven't yet found indigenous grape,
Sure.
so to speak, which is perfect for India. We've
Yep.
been experimenting, as you mentioned. What makes you say Grenache will do so well, particularly Nasik?
I think, just to step back, maybe like grapes like Chenin Blanc, for example, have done phenomenally well. Syrah, Shiraz, whatever you want to call it, does phenomenally well as well. And then if you look at one of the other whites that's done really well across India for a lot of people is Viognier. So if you look, Syrah, Viognier, both Rhone varietals, we are definitely a much warmer climate. The Bordeaux varietals like Merlot are definitely struggling. Cabernet in India is a challenge as well. And just based on our study of the climate, the soil types, the growing season, it seems that the Rhone varietals will do really well. We already have two very successful examples of that in Syrah and Viognier. So Grenache is the next logical one. We already have a few vineyards of Grenache. And last year, in the 2017 vintage, we produced our first ever rosé from Grenache. It was called the Source Grenache Rosé. It was very limited in production and was available only at the winery. And it sold out within a matter of months. We were, when we made that wine, we thought we'd have to sell it. It would be maybe, we'd have to explain to people because this was meant to be a dry rosé, a little bit more serious. But people just lapped it up and we were thrilled. And we've made more this vintage, and it's tasting as good. And we just think that Grenache grows really well. And I think the first thing in India we have to look is what grapes grow well. Not, what wine we would like to drink, what flavor would go well, but does the grape physically grow well? Does the plant grow? And Grenache grows beautifully. I mean, Syrah and Chenin today are the dominant
They'll
grapes in
continue.
India. They will continue just because they have that legacy. Just to put things into perspective, at this point we may have, 800, 900 acres of Syrah vineyards planted. We have about 15 acres of Grenache.
Yeah,
So it's tiny. And
baby
even
steps.
baby steps. And at each step we have to be careful and judicious as producers and as businesses, and just to keep making sure it keeps working, because we of course have to be financially responsible. I personally would love to do a red from Grenache, but that's still a few years out. The plants are pretty young, and I think only as the vineyards become more established will we see them start giving that level of flavor and depth and concentration.
You ended your talk on keeping the faith, which I thought was a very nice way of saying, be optimistic.
Yes.
We're going to get there.
Yes, we are. And I think it's important always to keep in context that, you know, some of the wines that we love. I mean, for example, I love Barolo. It's one of my, if I had a desert island wine, it would be Barolo. We love all these amazing wines, and we are not at that level yet. And maybe we will not even get to that level within my lifetime. But I have a faith that we will get there at some point in time. But it's important to remember that in Europe and all the other winemaking countries, they've been growing wine for 2,000 plus years. We started 20 years ago. I mean, there's a huge difference, and it's agriculture at the end of the day. It takes time. You want to try something new, it's a 5 to 7 year commitment that you're making. So we don't see instant results. And in today's day and age where everyone wants everything right now and shorter attention spans, I think I felt it was appropriate to reinforce the message. I think as a wine drinker in India over the last 10 years, I have seen wine quality improve phenomenally. And I think it's just about keeping that faith that we're headed in the right direction.
So that's great. So we look forward to that. Fingers crossed. We are going there. I agree with you. So next 5 years, we'll be maybe having this conversation, and it'll be something totally different.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. It's a very exciting time to be in the Indian wine industry. We are the pioneers at this point in time. You know, everyone who's working in the industry today is a trailblazer. We have no set conventions to work from. We can plant any grape, experiment. You know, it's basically a blank canvas.